reminding them that they're just with them in a different way.
So what is a
Theresa Caputo's life is a story of extraordinary talent, public fascination, and deeply personal struggles. Known to millions as the Long Island medium, she has helped grieving families find comfort and closure through her claimed ability to communicate with the deceased. To the audience, her life seems almost magical, filled with tearful revelations and intimate messages from beyond. But behind the cameras, her journey has been far from easy. Balancing a growing public career, intense scrutiny from skeptics, and the weight of personal grief has shaped Theresa into a resilient, empathetic woman. Her story reflects the complexity of carrying an unusual gift while navigating human vulnerabilities, family life, and the challenges of fame. Theresa's experiences show that even those who provide solace to others face emotional challenges themselves, offering a deeper understanding of the human side of psychic abilities and public life. A childhood of early awareness. Theresa Caputo's connection to the spiritual world began at an extraordinarily young age. At just 4 years old, she claims to have sensed spirits and heard things invisible to those around her. Growing up in a working-class Long Island household, she appeared like any other child on the outside, but internally she was experiencing phenomena that others could neither see nor understand. For a long time, she didn't know how to process these experiences, so she ignored them, a natural response for a child confronted with something inexplicable. Yet these early experiences shaped her awareness and empathy, cultivating a sensitivity to emotions and energies beyond the ordinary. This unique perception later became central to her life's work, allowing her to understand grief and human suffering at a depth few others could. As she navigated childhood curiosity and fear, she learned to coexist with feelings and sensations that set her apart. These formative years were critical in preparing her for a career that would demand emotional resilience, as she would eventually shoulder the grief of countless families while helping them seek comfort and closure. Discovering the gift as an adult. Theresa's realization of her abilities as an adult marked a significant turning point in her life. What had once been confusing or even frightening as a child transformed into a source of purpose and empowerment. She began by offering readings to friends, neighbors, and family members, gradually recognizing that her childhood experiences could genuinely help others. Word spread and more people sought her guidance, not just for spiritual communication, but also for personal decisions and life challenges. Taking her abilities into the public sphere required courage, as embracing her gift publicly meant exposing a vulnerable part of herself to scrutiny. At the same time, it allowed her to validate the experiences she had spent years questioning, turning uncertainty into clarity and purpose. This stage of her life illustrates the power of accepting one's abilities and using them for meaningful work. It also highlights a universal truth: unique talents, once understood and nurtured, can evolve into contributions that impact the lives of many. For Theresa, embracing her gift was both a personal journey and a step toward professional fulfillment. Rise to fame. Long Island. Medium. Theresa's career reached national attention with the 2011 premiere of Long Island Medium on TLC, a show that showcased her giving readings in everyday places such as living rooms, salons, and grocery stores. These readings often left participants in tears as she shared messages they perceived as deeply personal and profoundly meaningful. Theresa's distinctive personality, her thick Long Island accent, confident demeanor, and warm relatability helped her connect instantly with audiences. She defied the typical stereotype of a medium as a distant or reclusive figure, showing instead that spiritual work could be approachable, professional, and even entertaining. Her ability to combine empathy, humor, and authenticity contributed to her widespread appeal, making her one of the most recognized psychic figures in America. At the same time, the rapid rise to fame introduced new pressures, including public expectations and scrutiny of her abilities. Her experience demonstrates how personality, public perception, and claimed abilities intersect in shaping both credibility and audience connection, showing that how someone presents themselves can matter as much as the gift they claim to possess. Celebrity clients and expanding influence. As Theresa's reputation grew, she began working with high-profile clients seeking insight into personal and professional matters. From advising celebrities on relationship choices to helping them navigate career decisions, these interactions required precision, empathy, and discretion. Working with public figures amplified both the reach of her influence and the emotional labor involved, as mistakes or miscommunications could have larger consequences. Each reading demanded a balance of sensitivity and professionalism, teaching her to communicate insights in ways that were both comforting and believable. While helping high-profile clients expanded her visibility and reinforced her credibility, it also heightened the emotional stakes. The pressure to be accurate and empathetic, especially under public scrutiny, illustrates the duality of her work. It is rewarding in its impact, but exhausting in its demands. Theresa's experience shows that spiritual guidance in the public eye is as much about emotional intelligence and careful management as it is about claiming supernatural insight, highlighting the human skill required to navigate fame alongside deeply personal work. Public scrutiny and skepticism. Fame brought not only admiration but also intense skepticism. Critics and investigators questioned the legitimacy of Theresa's readings, suggesting that she relied on cold reading, pre-researched information, or audience manipulation. Sting operations and journalistic inquiries, such as those conducted by Mark Edward, argued that social media and ticket information could provide details that appeared psychic but were actually researched in advance. This skepticism highlighted a cultural divide. While believers embraced her readings as genuine and healing, skeptics dissected every interaction for evidence of trickery. Maintaining credibility under such scrutiny required patience and resilience, forcing Theresa to navigate an ongoing tension between public perception and personal conviction. She had to defend her integrity repeatedly while continuing her work. This dynamic reflects a broader human challenge, staying true to one's purpose amid doubt, criticism, and external pressure. Theresa's experience shows that belief, perception, and trust are subjective, and that resilience becomes a necessary skill for anyone whose work touches deeply personal and emotional experiences. The role of media in shaping perception. Television played a dual role in Theresa's career. On one hand, it amplified her ability to reach and comfort audiences. On the other, editing and production choices created opportunities for critics to question the authenticity of her readings. Live shows were carefully structured, seating and timing meticulously planned, and the final cut of episodes often emphasized the most emotionally compelling moments. Supporters viewed these practices as professional storytelling, ensuring viewers experienced her work in a clear and digestible way. Skeptics, however, argued that editing and preparation could mask inaccuracies or guide outcomes, raising questions about how much of the emotional response was authentic. This tension demonstrates how media shapes public perception, influencing both belief and skepticism. Theresa's ability to navigate this environment required skill, poise, and adaptability. Her work exists in a space where production, performance, and claimed abilities intersect, illustrating the complexity of being both a spiritual guide and a public figure in a world heavily mediated by television and social media. Emotional weight of the work. Theresa often speaks openly about the emotional toll of her work, emphasizing that readings leave lasting impressions on her psyche. She frequently carries the grief of her clients, particularly when dealing with sudden deaths or unresolved guilt. While participants may leave sessions feeling lighter, Theresa describes herself as absorbing the emotional residue, often feeling heavier afterward. This emotional labor is not only exhausting but also requires her to maintain focus and empathy while managing her own mental and emotional state. Her candid acknowledgement of this burden humanizes her, showing that even those perceived as gifted are not immune to the challenges of empathy and emotional intensity. Her work illustrates a universal truth: providing comfort often comes with personal cost. The weight of grief, especially in cases involving children or trauma, lingers long after the session ends, reminding us that helping others heal is as much about endurance and self-awareness as it is about skill or intuition. Emails and personal appeals from fans. Theresa receives an overwhelming number of personal messages from people in grief, seeking connection or closure with lost loved ones. Many letters reveal profound sorrow, describing deaths that occurred years or even decades earlier. This correspondence illustrates the emotional intensity of her work and the trust people place in her ability to communicate with the deceased. Each message represents a responsibility to respond with empathy, care, and discretion, while also protecting her own emotional health. These appeals highlight the personal and deeply human dimension of her profession. She is not simply performing a skill, but facilitating emotional healing and connection for those in pain. Her careful navigation of these communications demonstrates compassion, patience, and an awareness of the profound trust people place in her. This dynamic exemplifies how public figures who touch lives must manage both professional obligations and deeply human expectations. Controversy around methods. Theresa's work has been the center of debate, with critics suggesting that her readings often rely on general statements, cold reading techniques, or information obtained beforehand. Investigations highlighted ways her team could gather details in advance, such as tracking social media or pre-selecting audience members. Skeptics argue that these methods undermine the authenticity of her claimed abilities. Yet supporters point out that even if some preparation occurs, the emotional impact and comfort her readings provide are real for those receiving them. This debate illustrates a fundamental tension in psychic work: the difference between technique and effect. Theresa's experience shows that authenticity is not always about method alone, but also about the emotional resonance, trust, and empathy she brings to her work. It also highlights the complexity of performing a deeply personal, spiritually framed role under public scrutiny, where audience perception can shape credibility as much as the work itself. Her continued popularity, despite controversy, reflects the human desire for connection, reassurance, and hope, which her work fulfills for many, regardless of outside skepticism. Maintaining professional boundaries. Managing the constant influx of grief and expectation is a critical aspect of Theresa's work. She intentionally sets boundaries to protect her emotional and mental well-being while remaining available for clients and live shows. Without these limits, the emotional weight of absorbing others' pain could become overwhelming. Boundaries help her compartmentalize experiences so that she can provide meaningful guidance without letting grief or stress spill into her personal life. This practice demonstrates self-awareness and discipline, showing that even extraordinary abilities must be tempered with care for oneself. It also reflects a universal lesson about human empathy. Helping others sustainably requires managing your own energy and limits. By balancing professional responsibility with personal well-being, Theresa ensures she can continue her work effectively. Her approach models emotional intelligence and resilience, highlighting that success in emotionally demanding professions requires not just talent but also strategic self-care and clear boundaries. Marriage and family life. Theresa's personal life has been deeply intertwined with the demands of her career. She was married to Larry Caputo for nearly 3 decades, raising 2 children while managing her growing fame and the emotional intensity of her work. Over time, travel, filming schedules, and public attention created distance in their relationship, eventually leading to separation and divorce. Because their lives were under public scrutiny, personal struggles became shared experiences with fans, adding emotional complexity. Her story illustrates how career demands, especially those involving public emotional labor, can affect family dynamics, requiring adaptability, negotiation, and mutual understanding. Theresa's experience humanizes her, showing that even someone with extraordinary abilities must navigate ordinary challenges of love, partnership, and family. It also underscores the broader truth that balancing professional ambition with personal relationships is difficult for anyone, regardless of fame or unique gifts. Her ability to maintain care for her children and personal responsibilities, despite public pressures, reflects resilience, empathy, and ongoing personal growth. Balancing fame with privacy. Public life brought immense visibility, but it also complicated Theresa's ability to maintain private space. Constant attention from fans, journalists, and skeptics blurred the lines between her personal and professional life. Despite this, she developed routines and boundaries to protect her privacy while still honoring her work and the emotional needs of clients. The tension between being a public figure and a caregiver for others' grief illustrates a universal challenge: managing visibility without sacrificing personal health or autonomy. Theresa's navigation of fame demonstrates emotional intelligence, self-awareness, and a capacity to prioritize well-being alongside professional responsibility. She shows that success does not require surrendering privacy entirely, but rather finding ways to compartmentalize and protect personal life amid public scrutiny. This balancing act is a reminder that maintaining authenticity in high-pressure, emotionally intensive roles requires careful management of both external expectations and internal needs. Understanding and managing hauntings. Many clients approach Theresa worried about hauntings or unsettling energy in their homes. She distinguishes between harmless spirits, energy remnants, and truly harmful entities, often reframing fear as misunderstanding. Her approach includes practical rituals like sage burning, visualization, and asking entities to move on peacefully. This process is not just spiritual, it also educates clients and helps them feel safe, showing her ability to blend empathy, intuition, and practical guidance. By reframing potentially frightening experiences in approachable terms, she empowers clients while maintaining her own professional integrity. This skill highlights that psychic work often involves guiding perception and emotional response as much as conveying messages from the deceased. Theresa's ability to manage these situations with calm, reassurance, and structure demonstrates the human dimension of her work. She is as much a teacher and guide as she is a communicator with the spirit world. Her practice shows that empathy, clarity, and understanding are crucial in helping others navigate experiences that feel beyond comprehension. Playful and human side of mediumship. Theresa's work is not always solemn. She often shares humorous or lighthearted stories about spirit interactions. From spirits helping with mundane tasks to playful visits, these anecdotes humanize her abilities and show that spiritual awareness can coexist with everyday life. Humor and storytelling make her approachable, balancing the intense emotional demands of grief work with levity and relatability. By sharing these moments, she connects with audiences on a human level, reminding people that extraordinary abilities do not make someone immune to ordinary life experiences. This playful approach fosters trust, makes her teachings accessible, and provides relief from the weight of emotional labor. It also highlights a universal truth: maintaining joy, humor, and perspective is essential in emotionally demanding work. Theresa's ability to combine humor with empathy demonstrates that even deeply spiritual work benefits from relatability, warmth, and shared human experience. Embracing and explaining the gift. Over the years, Theresa has chosen transparency in sharing her abilities, explaining that spirit communication is an extension of empathy and emotional connection. By framing her work as a natural human capacity to understand emotions and the personalities of those who have passed, she makes her experiences accessible to both believers and curious audiences. This approach helps demystify psychic work while also humanizing her own journey. Rather than remaining secretive or enigmatic, Theresa invites others into her perspective, balancing credibility with approachability. Her willingness to explain her gift openly fosters dialogue and understanding, bridging the gap between skepticism and belief. This transparency highlights that extraordinary experiences, when communicated thoughtfully, can create connection and meaning without alienating others. Theresa's approach demonstrates that authenticity and openness are as vital as skill in cultivating trust, understanding, and influence in a public-facing spiritual practice. Professional resilience and dedication. Despite criticism, personal challenges, and emotional intensity, Theresa continues to perform readings, write, and engage with her audience. Her resilience stems from purpose, a commitment to helping others, and careful management of her emotional resources. She exemplifies dedication in a profession that demands public visibility, emotional labor, and spiritual responsibility simultaneously. Her career highlights the human ability to persevere under scrutiny and personal strain, showing that balancing purpose with self-care is essential. Theresa's story reminds us that meaningful work often requires sacrifice, discipline, and adaptability. Her resilience demonstrates that talent alone is not enough. Sustaining a career in emotionally charged fields requires strength, focus, and commitment to both oneself and those being served. Her example is instructive for anyone navigating demanding professions that touch deeply on human emotion. Legacy and cultural impact. Theresa Caputo has shaped both popular perception of psychic abilities and how television portrays spiritual guidance. Her readings, personality, and public presence have influenced pop culture, offering comfort to countless individuals while sparking dialogue about grief, empathy, and belief. Her story shows the intersection of spirituality, media, and emotional care, emphasizing that cultural influence is not limited to entertainment but can touch lives personally and emotionally. Whether skeptics question her methods or believers find solace in her readings, her impact is undeniable. Her legacy lies in promoting empathy, human connection, and understanding of grief, showing that even controversial work can leave a lasting positive mark. Theresa's journey highlights the role of compassion, trust, and emotional insight in shaping public perception and cultural narrative, leaving lessons about the importance of human connection in all fields of influence. Conclusion: the human side of mediumship. Theresa's journey reflects the balance of gift, fame, and humanity. She has faced public scrutiny, personal loss, and immense emotional responsibility, yet continues to navigate her path with empathy, humor, and resilience. Her story demonstrates that psychic abilities, while extraordinary, are inseparable from human experience, requiring emotional strength, boundaries, and self-care. She reminds us that even those who guide others through grief face vulnerabilities, showing the universal need for support, understanding, and adaptability. By embracing her gift with honesty and care, Theresa humanizes the role of a medium, offering a perspective that celebrates both spiritual abilities and human resilience. Her life underscores a broader truth: extraordinary skills are most impactful when grounded in empathy, integrity, and the capacity to remain human amidst challenge.